Good morning, everyone. We're continuing here in KITZUR, HILCHOS Shabbos, and we're in the small little chapter over here of Shavuos, which are the rabbinical restrictions and gedarim and the fences that Chazal make in order to protect us from trampling on the main body of the laws of Shabbos. And he writes, "B'roiv mekaymois kesheroisim Chazal laharois lano al eze davar." In many places, when Chazal want to paskin, they want to teach us on those things that even though midaraisa it could be that this activity is mutter, shadayin asr midaraban, nevertheless midaraban, they said it's going to be asr. Mishtamshin az v'lashin patur, they use the word patur, that it is patur, even though that it's meaning midaraisa, it's not an issue, and therefore it's pater. Hainu pater min achiyuv aval adayin asam b'divrei sefer, which means you're pater really from the chiyuv de'araisa, meaning on a biblical level you did nothing wrong. Nevertheless, there's still going to be an isser b'divrei sefer. Rabbinically, there's going to be a prohibition over here. So whenever you see the word pater, it just means pater from Torah law, but still going to be chayiv, is still going to be obligated in rabbinical law. Now, af shegam issa derabanan chamer lanu, and the issa derabanan, the rabbinical prohibition, is also something that is chamer. We take it very seriously. Mikol malkem tzichin leida ma she'aser min haTorah or min derabanan bilvad. Nevertheless, you have to know the distinction between that which is aser midaraisa on a Torah level and that which is aser only midarabanan. Sheyesh lanu nafkamina harbe pa'amim, because there are differences in many cases. Im davar aser min haTorah, if you have something that is either aser from the Torah, or rak midarabanan, or maybe only midarabanan. He's going to explain what the differences are. Vaynu, for example, in a situation of sakana, of danger. Okay, so let's say it's pikuach nefesh, life. It's a dangerous situation, someone's health, a dangerous situation where you are. And he writes, even though that in those cases, you're allowed to transgress the prohibitions of the Torah, because to save a life, you do what you have to do. Nevertheless, if you have a choice to transgress a Torah prohibition or a rabbinical prohibition, first you should make up to transgress the rabbinical prohibition before you transgress the rabbinical prohibition. Which means that if I have two ways that I could perform this procedure in front of me, two things that I could do right now, one is going to make me transgress Torah prohibition, and the other one is going to make me transgress the rabbinical prohibition, then I should always err on the side of caution, and I should transgress the rabbinical prohibition first. Nevertheless, there are places where we don't make any distinction, and we'll see that later on as we go through this sefer. So too, if you could do the malach, you could do this activity, this work with, as we mentioned the other day, shinui, you do it in an unusual way, or klachayat, a roundabout way, shaz yesh rak issa derabanan. Even there, that's only going to be an issa derabanan, meaning I could transgress a Torah prohibition in the case of sakana when there's danger, but I could do it in a way where there's a shinui, and therefore it now gets downgraded to a rabbinical prohibition. So you should do it in that way before you just straight away transgress a Torah prohibition. Even though, again, there's a permission that you have to override the Torah prohibition, but nevertheless, even when we have that permissibility, we always try to do it in the least amount of Chil Shabbos as possible. So wherever you can do Rabbanan first, or you can do it with a Shinui, or you can do it with a roundabout way, or a different way, then you downgrade the Torah prohibition to a rabbinical prohibition. So too, and we'll see this later, when it comes to Amira Akum, which means telling a non-Jew what to do. Machalkim pa'amim bein sha'imrim leilasais b'shvil Yisrael. We make distinctions whether you're telling him to do something for a Jew. Davar sh'asam in Torah, which is mamish asa from the Torah, or shirak asam in the Rabbanan, or something that might be an isim in the Rabbanan, meaning I cannot tell a goy beferish explicitly do this act which is an isser deraisa, but it could be that, as we'll see, that when it comes to derabanan, isur derabanan, rabbinical prohibitions, it will be easier to tell the non-Jew what to do. Again, when we get to that chapter, we'll see that more in depth. But that's what he's saying right now, that an important thing to remember, that even when you are in fact allowed to be machal Shabbos because sakana, because of life and death, danger and the like, nevertheless we still try to limit the amount of desecration to the best of our abilities. We do things, the rabbinical prohibition before the Torah prohibition, or we do things in a shinui which downgrades the prohibition to rabbinical instead of Deraisa, instead of Torah. Have a wonderful day and a wonderful Shabbos.